DreAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. Let's talk about this Ben Simmons situation. A couple people have asked me if I was going to talk about this, so let's talk about it now. This is, well, first of all, I'm from the city of Philadelphia, PA. I don't know if everybody knows that, but I'm from Philly. I don't live in Philly. I live in Miami. But I'm from Philly, so I want to see the hometown team be successful. And Ben Simmons is a good player, even as we all know, those of you who are basketball fans watching this, we know his limitations. But even with the limitations, he's a good player. But he's been in the league for like 5 years. He needs to get better. So let's talk about right now. The situation is, as of this recording, Ben Simmons told the Sixers he's not coming this year. He's not coming to training camp. He knows that he's not going to get paid because he's not coming to the games. He has a contract for what is he making? Like $30 million a year. So he's going to pass up $30 million, allegedly, because he really doesn't want to play with the Sixers anymore. He's done with the Sixers, this and that, whatever. So let's backtrack to what happened here and I'll tell you where I see this. So Ben Simmons, first of all, I guess his gripes are, first of all, allegedly, because the Sixers were about to trade him for James Harden. So he is allegedly upset about that. Then he's upset about the fact that the fans in Philadelphia are maybe upset with him because of his underperformance during the playoff series last year, which was the second round against the Atlanta Hawks. When the Sixers lost to the Hawks, how the hell the Sixers lost to the Hawks in the NBA playoffs? I have no idea. The Hawks are a good team, but Trae Young and the Hawks ain't better than Joel, Ben, and the damn Sixers. So how we lost to the damn Hawks? Well, I know how we lost to the Hawks. Our second best player wouldn't shoot the fucking ball, so we know how we lost. Ben Simmons didn't take a single field goal attempt, and the last 3 or 4 games of the series? He didn't shoot the ball not once in the fourth quarter, not in the whole game, but in the fourth quarter, which is crazy. That is something going on. A guy doesn't take one shot in the fourth quarter. He was the second best player on the fucking team. So he allegedly is upset because the fans in Philly are upset because of his underperformance. It makes no sense to me. I'm the work on your game guy. How could you be mad? Somebody's mad at you because you didn't perform. It ain't like it's a question of whether he performed or not. It's not a debate. He knows he didn't perform. And then I suppose, again, all of this is alleged. Ben is also upset because after Game 7, and when Doc Rivers did his post-game interview, somebody asked Doc, hey, based on Ben Simmons' underperformance, do you believe that Ben can be a future main piece of this team to win the championship? And Doc said, I don't know. Doc was kind of non-committal on the answer to that question. And allegedly, Ben Simmons is mad at these 3 factors. Doc Rivers not committing to him, the Sixers fans being mad at him, and them almost trading him for James Harden. I think these are the 3 things that, again, coming from Ben Simmons' camp, which is Rich Paul and his agent Rich Paul and whoever else represents him, he's upset about these specific factors. So let's address these factors. First of all, the James Harden trade. I don't know who's advising Ben Simmons. I don't know how much he's getting gassed up by his Instagram comments or whatever, but James Harden is better than Ben Simmons. All right, I would trade Ben Simmons for James Harden. And Joel Embiid said, tongue-in-cheek, look, I would do that trade for himself. He would trade himself for, he said, if the Warriors offered the Sixers Steph Curry and Klay Thompson for me, I would do the trade too. I would trade myself for those 2 guys. It's just sometimes you gotta look at business as it is. So Ben Simmons somehow being upset because he was going to get traded for James Harden when James Harden is better than him. But shit, the Sixers should have did that trade. I think what ended up happening, from what I heard, we'll never know for sure, but from what I heard is that Houston is the one who backed out of that trade. It wasn't the Sixers. That the Sixers did make the offer, Ben for James, and then Houston said, no, we don't want to do that. We want to do something different. Might have had something to do with Daryl Morey, or they just decided they didn't want to do the deal. They took a different deal from Brooklyn. But hell, the Sixers could have did that trade. They might have went to the finals last year. But anyway, so first of all, James Harden is better than you, and this is the NBA. You can get traded anytime. You're making $35 million a year, and you haven't even produced in the playoffs yet. You should be happy. Anyway, the second thing is him possibly being upset that the Sixers fans are upset with him. Listen, I'm the work on your game guy. I'm the guy. I'm all about personal accountability. I'm all about taking ownership. I'm all about being able to look in the mirror and look at yourself before you look at anybody else. Or if you catch yourself looking at everybody else, looking in the mirror and figuring out, all right, what did I do to contribute to this situation being what it is? Ben Simmons did not perform in that playoff series against the Hawks last year. All y'all saw it. If you're watching this, you watch basketball. Everybody saw that play in Game 7. Ben Simmons had the ball. He does a little spin move on the baseline. Who was guarding him? Like Kevin Huerter or Gallinari? One of those guys was guarding him. He spins off the guy, He picks up the ball right in front of the damn rim. Ben Simmons like 6'11". Picks up the ball right in front of the rim. Doesn't even look at the rim. Passes the ball to Tyrese Maxey. Maxey gets fouled. But everybody's like, wait, what the fuck just happened? Like, this dude 6'11", had the ball at the rim and didn't even look at the rim. He didn't even try to shoot it. He didn't even look at the rim. And everybody's like, all right, this guy's out of control. And I was watching those games, being that I want to see the Sixers succeed. And I was noticing Ben Simmons would dribble the ball. He would get like across half court. This thing is when he's going downhill, like Giannis. When he starts going downhill at full speed, like early LeBron. LeBron's added a lot of pieces since then. But like early LeBron, like Giannis now, or before Giannis got into the playoffs last year, he added some pieces. But when he starts going downhill at full speed, there's a bucket. You're either going to have to foul him, he's going to score, or he's going to pass to somebody for an open shot because he's going to draw on the defense. So he would get the ball last year in that playoff series, and he'd be going downhill, and then he would pass the ball. I'm like, yo, he just passed the ball before he even crossed half court. Why did he do that? Like, he's the best player on the team doing that. Why is he giving the ball out? There was one play in particular. He passed the ball to Joel Embiid at like half court. I'm like, why did he just give the ball to Joel Embiid? Or he would pass it to Tobias, or he passed it to anybody. Why are you passing the ball, period? The one thing you're good at on offense is going full speed with the ball, dribbling. Why are you passing to anybody? The guy just didn't want the ball. It was a mental thing. And there are plenty of mental people who can help him with this. I'm not sure I'll be the right guy for him. I think he's a little bit too Gen Z for me. He's a little bit too millennial for me. I don't know Ben Simmons, but based on some of the few times I've heard him speak and some of these things I'm hearing come out of the situation, I don't think my style would work with him. I think he would bristle at my style, because I tell him straight up to his face, like, motherfucker, James Harden better than you. Second of all, you underperform. Who you mad at? And third, if the coach said he's not sure you can be a centerpiece, yo, what the fuck did we just see you do the last 3 games? Of course he's going to say that. Why? Well, how are we going to make a centerpiece unless somebody won't shoot the fucking ball? Like, all of those are legitimate factors. I don't understand what is he mad at? What's his gripe? How can you be mad at any of that? So anyway, like I said, there are some mental coaches that can help him. Probably not me. Again, he's a little bit too Gen Z for me. He's a little bit too much feminine energy for me, as far as I'm concerned. Different conversation for a different day. But how Ben Simmons is mad here. Now him and his camp are saying they're just going to sit this out. Ben is telling the Sixers what teams he wants to be traded to. Like, dude, you don't have any leverage. And this is what I heard Shaq and Charles saying. And Shaq said it specifically. He said, dude, you ain't that good to be telling the team where they got to trade you, or what you're going to do, or what you're not going to do. Like, that's something that you do when you have won a championship, or you're clearly the best player and you're out there like dominating every single night. Has Ben Simmons done that? No. The best player on the Sixers is Joel Embiid. Now, Ben Simmons could be up there at his level and even be the second best, or either the 1 and 1A type guy, but he hasn't done that. How you in the NBA? This is what I don't understand. There's been several NBA players, and I'm not even going to say their names. It's not about bashing them, at least not now. But NBA players, like, how do you have a full-time job doing one thing? Your one job is to play basketball. How can you have that job for 4 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, and you can't add a skill to your skill set? What are you doing? What are you doing in the offseason? You have a full-time job to play basketball. You get paid more money than you need to play basketball, which means it's not like you're like driving Uber in the offseason to make ends meet. You know what I mean? It's not like you're working at some office as an accountant or an insurance salesperson because you're not getting enough money at your full-time, your day job. So how does Ben Simmons not develop a jump shot? How is he not shooting the ball in the games? And then, again, this is why I say he's a little bit too Gen Z for me. You see the videos the last couple summers. He's playing pickup. And I've made videos about these pickup games with NBA players or whoever, pro-level players. Nobody's playing defense. It's like basically like 5 guys playing one-on-one. So 2 guys go one-on-one, and the other 8 players just stand around and watch y'all do it. And then they put these videos up. Trainers, I guess, put these videos out. Like, oh, look at this open run. This guy's having an open run. Y'all want to be in these runs? Or wow, look at this player. He's doing this. He's doing that. Like, these are not no real basketball game was anything like those games. Why it makes sense that Ben Simmons is making jump shots in those games. Then we get into a real game that is nothing like those pickup games that he's playing in. I don't know who's organizing those games, but whoever's doing it, they need to stop. And then he gets in the game, he ain't doing any of that stuff. So I'm looking at this like, all right, so why is he even posting these? That's the part that I don't get. You know that the whole story around you, Ben, is that you don't shoot shots in the game. You get in the game, you won't shoot a mid-range jumper, you won't shoot a 3, you can't make free throws. Now you're scared to even get fouled, so you won't even dribble the ball across the half-court line. And situation in which you are most dangerous to the opponent, but you're posting videos, or you're allowing your trainer or whoever is posting those videos to post a video of you shooting jump shots in the offseason as if this is what we should expect from you in the regular season when you're getting paid $30 million, and then you don't do it. Why are you posting a video if you know you're not going to do it? It's kind of like me posting a video of me boxing and I'm beating the shit out of a punching bag with my trainer, and then I get into a situation where somebody wants to fight and I run away from the fight. Like, why are you posting videos of fighting if you don't want to fight? Like, what are you doing? So I don't understand. Some of you Gen Zers, I don't get, man. I don't understand y'all mentality. I don't know who raised y'all. But anyway, this whole Ben Simmons situation is got to be frustrating for the Sixers. I understand how Joel Embiid is very frustrated by the situation, because he's like, yo, we supposed to be the Batman and Robin in this situation. How are you bailing out when nobody did anything wrong to this guy? I can understand if something had actually been done wrong. I can understand it. Joel Embiid actually he sat out 2 seasons before he even got to play for the Sixers because of his injuries, and how the Sixers dealt with it. I guess we could say all's well that ends well, because he's playing now, he's doing his thing. But damn, like, what are you mad at? They did everything right by you. They gave you the contract. The city has supported you. We wanted you to do your thing. We are wondering why you're not doing it. People want you to do better, and now you're going to bail out of the situation. So instead of dealing with the situation, what Ben Simmons should have did is showed up and said, you know what, everybody, held a press conference, said, look, I'm not going to take any questions. Let's be clear about one thing up front. Last year in the playoffs, I underperformed. I didn't shoot the ball in the fourth quarter. I was scared to get fouled. I underperformed. Had I performed, we would have beat the Atlanta Hawks, and maybe we would have even went to the NBA Finals. I got to take that. I put that on my shoulders. It's on me. This team is paying me $30 million a year to play basketball. I got to take ownership of that. This year, I will be better. This year, I will shoot open threes. I don't care if I miss all of them. I'm going to shoot them. This year, I will be a better player. I am not going to be fearful when we get into big situations. Everybody can count on me. And media, y'all hold me accountable to this. If he would have came out and said that, Ben Simmons would have had everybody in the world would have been his fucking fan. I don't care if he would have went 0 for 300 on threes this year. Everybody would have been cheering for him and pulling for him to be successful, even if he was failing, simply because he took ownership of the situation. But now he's backing out of the situation, and this is so feminine what's going on right now in this situation. And I'm not even saying that as a personal attack on Ben Simmons, but it's so feminine, this energy of, all right, now I messed up, so now I'm not going to own the mess up. Now I'm going to find a way to bail out of it as if I'm not the one who caused this whole situation in the first place. I just don't understand this whole thing. So whatever ends up happening with Ben Simmons, I'm assuming he's not going to show up, and the Sixers are probably going to trade him. I don't know who they're going to trade him for, who's going to want to give something up. Ideally, we would have got James fucking Harden, but I guess that ship has sailed. I guess the next best thing we could get is Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard's still pretty fucking good. Damian Lillard, that might actually be, as far for what the Sixers need, might actually be better than what James Harden can give. Actually, I don't know. I might be going too far with that. But Damian Lillard is pretty close. Let's just say that. He's pretty close. Anything less than one of those guys, Zach LaVine is not on those two guys' levels. And I don't think they're going to trade. I don't think Zach LaVine's getting traded. And I'm not sure there's any other available player that kind of fits the profile of any of those three that would work for what the Sixers actually need right now. So that's where this is. It's a fucked up situation, especially if you're a Sixers fan. You want to see the Sixers succeed. Are we taking a player that we got $30 million committed to and he don't want to play? That's how I see this. This is just it's so Gen Z. It's so feminine. It is so, and see my podcast episode on masculinity. So when y'all hear me say feminine, understand I'm not saying Ben Simmons is a female. Understand what I mean when I say feminine. There's masculine energy, there's feminine energy. So make sure you see my podcast episode on that so you know exactly what I'm talking about there. If any of you don't know what that means, so you understand what I'm referring to when I say feminine. And it's a frustrating situation for anybody who's into performance, anybody who's into personal accountability, ownership of your situation, all of that. And I don't understand how Ben Simmons doesn't have somebody in his circle who can look him in his face and tell him what I'm telling y'all right now, because clearly he doesn't have anybody in his circle who's telling him this, and if he does, he probably fired them and kicked them out the circle for telling him the truth. But somebody needs to tell this kid something, and he needs to put his nuts back on and show up to his job, where he's the one who let the job down. The job didn't let him down, and that's where I see this. So y'all tell me what y'all think. Work on your game. Dre all day.